This is Western Mass News on Fox 6.
While little ones were out trick-or-treating earlier this evening, Hampshire Superior probation officers were working to keep the community safe. Welcome to Western Mass News at 10 on this Thursday. I'm Abby Carnevale. Western Mass News reporter Addie Patterson joins us live in studio after learning more about the department's Operation Lights Out event that was held earlier today. Addie?
Abby, I followed probation officers tonight as they drove to registered sex offenders' homes, making sure those registered were keeping their distance from children this Halloween.
We're just here to check in on them, making sure that they're safe and that they're not doing anything that they're not supposed to be doing.
While many children knocked on doors for candy this Halloween, Hampshire Superior probation's officers knocked on doors for a different reason.
Checking in on the people that are sex offenders in the Superior Court. We want to make sure that they don't have their lights on in their homes, which could be inviting to younger kids that are out trick-or-treating.
It's called Operation Lights Out. That's when probation officers travel our area, making sure registered sex offenders aren't trying to draw in kids to their home Halloween night.
People are probably expecting us to pop in, given that this is an annual thing that we do on Halloween night.
Western Mass News caught up with communications director and spokesperson for the Massachusetts Probation Service, Coria Holland. She explains why doing these types of inspections are important.
Just making sure that families and children enjoy this holiday and that everyone is safe. And so we check on our registered sex offenders just to make sure that they're following the conditions of their probation and doing the right thing.
Probation's officers tell us they'll be knocking on dozens of doors this Halloween.
We're not going to be able to see all of them tonight, but we're going to see a fair amount of them that are home.
Probation officers tell us they visited several communities tonight for Lights Out, including Springfield, Indian Orchard, Holyoke, and West Springfield. For now, reporting live in studio, Addie Patterson for Western Mass News.